Hello, welcome, everybody. Full house. We are the opening act for the Antwerp Symphony Orchestra, who plays video game music today. Welcome, Kast. That's very good. We are the best gaming podcast from the Antwerpse Zoo tot de Koningin Elizabethzaal. I'm Espe.
I'm Jerre.
I'm Janox.
And we usually do this without an audience, as you can probably tell. But this is a special occasion, and for special occasions require special guests. So what we're going to do tonight is have the director of tonight and the double bass player of the event here, and we're going to ask him some questions. Hopefully it's entertaining and informative at the same time.
We'll do our best.
We'll do our best. Anything to add?
No, I think you did that perfectly.
Cool.
All right. I hope everybody here is a gamer. No, you don't have to be.
Okay. Oh, here's a question. Who knows our podcast from before this?
Oh, a few.
A lot of people into the unknown.
We are very unpopular. Cool. And how many people usually speak Dutch?
Okay.
Everyone. Well, the guests don't, so too bad.
Well, and then I'll ask the final question, like, who here considers themselves a gamer? Oh.
Right.
All right. So not
Candy
everybody.
Crush counts.
Okay.
This time.
So I think gaming music for some of you will be a new exploration then, let's say. All right. Well, me and Espe were very much enthusiasts when it comes to game music. We always do podcasts about game music when he doesn't show up. So if he says like, oh yeah, next week I can't make a recording, then I always text him like,
soundtrack episode.
So we've covered like a lot of things like classic like Nintendo music from the 80s, but too much more. Our last one was like epic music from video games, because some like bombastic soundtracks, or we've done deep dives where we've gone through every single Sonic game and chosen the best music.
We're never doing that again.
No. So yeah, we really like game music and music in general, of course. It's not like regular or movie music. We're like, no, turn it off. No, every type of music is great, of course, but we do think that game music is very
important to the game.
Yeah, it sets the mood, it sets the scene. I'm a game developer myself. I think music can sometimes bring things like give the extra emotion to the scene, much like music in movie does as well. But yeah, like some of my favorite soundtracks also are so dynamic, where they form with the gameplay. Like Shadow of the Colossus is a very good example, where the music actually sets the scene while you're playing dynamically to whatever you're doing. And it's just, for me, like an engineering marvel. I look at it like, this must have taken so much work, but I really love it.
Who here played Shadow of the Colossus?
Ooh, some people.
Very nice. Well, it's not on the menu tonight.
No. But other great music is.
Yes. So let's introduce our first guest, the director of tonight, Stefan Geiger.
Yes.
Here you go, sir.
Hello, everybody.
Oh.
Hello. Let's take 4.
There's a backup.
This one. Okay.
Yes. There's backups for a reason. So, willkommen. You are the German director of this event. This is not the first night you're doing this, I suppose. This is not the opening night.
You mean this is not the first time doing game music, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. Actually, I'm a fan or working with game music since 2012.
Oh.
And honestly speaking, in this time, the game music was not as developed as it is now.
it keeps evolving like constantly. With everything in games, it's like a rapid development. Everything just gets that extra step, and as you say, music as well. Like I think the amount of games with a very expansive soundtrack in 2012 compared to today, it's like fraction.
Yeah, but I'm so happy because you said something really important. The music brings the emotion to the game. So, and this is exactly like in film, and it's you cannot how to say that, you shouldn't underestimate it. And now with the technical development, there is things possible it haven't been before, and I think this is an amazing situation.
Amazing. Because I read that you're also one of the co-founders of the German Game Music Awards. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. And this happens exactly in 2012. And actually it was like this, that I was already doing film music, accompanying live films. And friends of mine, real gamers, because I'm not, talked to me and told me, Stefan, you're interested in film music, you really should look at the gaming thing. And I thought, no, come on. I know I played Pac-Man in my youth. This is not what I'm really interested in. And but I did a research, and honestly speaking, especially in this time, I would say a really high percentage of the music was not interesting. But then I found some pieces I thought, oh, come on, this really, it's amazing and it should be brought on stage. I don't know, I have maybe one key experience. Maybe do you know the music of Gary Scheinman? Gary Scheinman wrote the music for BioShock 2, for example.
Oh.
And exactly. And also the music for the game Dante's Inferno.
Oh,
and this
good one.
Sorry?
That's a very good one.
Yeah. No, he's my we are friends in between. Our friendship developed since 2012. No, but it came to me like I read an article in a newspaper. As a non-gamer, I read in a famous German newspaper, Die Zeit, which is a intellectual one, article about gaming, and I saw that there's a computer. I don't know which company it is. Sorry, but one of the computer companies made Dante's Inferno, which in fact is Dante Allegri, the divine. What is the English word?
Divine comedy.
Thanks a lot. Which is the book. The Bible nobody read, but this is the high standard. And a gaming made of this, I was, come on. Are they totally crazy now, these gamers? And also I read about Gary Scheinman doing the music. And then I get into it. I was really influenced, and I was grabbed. And then we decided, because I also found a lot of not this well music for gaming, and we had the idea to do a competition for young composers until 28, I think, of European countries, and the competition is like this: open for everyone, sending in 3 minutes of music to a trailer. Actually, we started with Zelda, just a 3 minutes trailer, but they should not compose another Zelda, but not the true music. And it's really funny because you can imagine the audience was in the hall, and we showed the trailer. But in the final, it was in a big concert hall, and we showed the trailer with the 3 finalists composer, so with 3 different compositions from 3 different composers, and exactly what you described before, it makes a total other game what is running. Yeah, and this is what we did, and yeah, some of them really also made a little career in composing and in film and game music, and we are a bit proud of that.
As you should. You've played Pac-Man, but you're not a big gamer after 1982, or?
I feared this question. No, I'm really not a gamer, but I have a Pac-Man story. Because, no, actually, in my youth, I had to decide if I would be an e-sports star or a musician, but I broke my finger and I decided to be a conductor. No, it's not truth. Look at me. In my youth, there was not any computer. So But there was Pac-Man. I remember that. It was in the main station, just maybe 50 meters from my school, where I went to school. And in every break, my friends and me went there, put, I don't know, eine Mark, so one bill, and played Pac-Man like crazy, okay? The funny thing is, this is 40 years ago, but last winter I was with my family. I have 3 kids, or big kids. They are gamers, and we have been to a hotel, maybe from the 1970s, last century, and there was in the dark. It was really a bit horror in the dark cellar, right? You say that, and there was a billiard and a kicker, and there was one Pac-Man, and you have to put in a coin, and it played. And this was my, I don't know, my evening.
You were warped back to your...
Exactly, and I played with one coin until level 38, and my kids was, oh, Daddy! So this was my biggest success with gaming. That's it.
Well, you can play the perfect game in Pac-Man. It's one of the few games that you can play perfectly every single time. There's a formula that they figured out.
Not sure. Do you want to listen to another? I don't know if it's a funny story, but for me it was really funny. I did a gaming concert with a live gamer. I don't tell, a famous one and a really good one, and he just had to do Super Mario. So, and he can do the biggest and most difficult game. And we played with the orchestra Super Mario, and he had to play. And the piece is about 7-8 minutes. And this really good guy just screwed up. First Mario, second Mario, and he had really to stop again. And I think maybe it was only for me funny, because we were playing the music and he was sweating like hell.
He should have practiced more.
Exactly. That's the same in music.
Yeah, it's the same with music. Why didn't he put in the work?
Have you ever considered composing a new soundtrack for Pac-Man then?
No. I think this is you can do it better.
That's true.
Having not played many games, what made you decide which pieces would end up in the final cut?
For tonight, Res?
Yes.
Thanks for the questions. This is actually there's 3 points. Also, we want to have audience, so we put some really good games, good known for sure. But if they are good knowns, this normally it means also they have good music, or there's other thing which is really special. So this is maybe the first point. The other point is the music itself. Like we're doing Far Horizons, Skyrim, which is so beautiful. And so really putting maybe my favorite music, orchestra symphonic colors. And there's also a third aspect which we should not underestimate. For example, we are playing Clash of Clans, which has not a great music, but the arrangement is amazing. So I think there is also my approach to show people, maybe especially people which normally not going to a classical concert, the big difference between the computer speaker and the Queen Elizabeth Hall with Antwerp Symphony. And I think this is clear for everyone, but really to experience it, I hope you will say yes after the concert, is another thing. And so there is really very good arrangers, like for example Andrew Skeet, who did all these recordings with London Symphony, the most famous first CDs with gaming music. And for example, and we have Andrew Skeet and other very good arrangers. So that means it doesn't depend so much about the music. Some of these are more like logos and not really symphonic one. But if the arrangement is good, it's amazing and very funny.
Can you give us any examples of soundtracks you thought about putting in but didn't make the cut?
No, I spare that for next time.
Oh, okay.
And
no
who
spoilers.
inspired you to pick these games specifically? Is it your kids? Who inspired you?
Actually, it's research. to be honest. And also, I remember in my first gaming concert, I wrote in Instagram in the comments, so this was the gaming concert, but I'm not a gamer, please, could you give me ideas? And I got 300 ideas, and I had half a year to work on that, and maybe 30 of these 300 I liked a lot. So it's also friends and people and getting ideas and like normal.
Gamers are everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, you've put two of my favorite games in the selection, actually. So
I did. Great.
Yeah, so Psychonauts 2.
Great.
Like Psychonauts 1 is my favorite game of all time. The second one is amazing as well.
Yeah.
And then Grim Fandango from basically the same team, let's say. Not 100%, but there's some inspiration there. Yeah, those are two of my favorite games. And of course, the soundtrack of Grim Fandango is one of the all-time best, in my opinion.
I'm really happy to hear. I'm not absolutely sure, so I don't want to spread lies through internet, but maybe it's the first time Psychonauts 2 is played live by an orchestra.
I've never heard it before, so it could be true, yes?
Yeah. And I was in contact with Peter O'Connell, and he was really friendly and supported a lot the idea to bring it on stage. So hello, Peter, if you hear us. And we worked hard on that, so even him would be hopefully happy with the performance. Maybe the premiere of Psychonauts 2 tonight.
Perfect.
What kind of audience are you expecting? Are you like gamers, or are you targeting, or hopefully targeting more general or broader public? Or
sure, we want to bring, as I said, also first people which maybe normally don't go to a classic concert, to convince them it's a great show. But I just remember an article of a newspaper of a gaming concert I did a few weeks ago, and the lady was writing about, oh, okay, this was also an interesting audience. You see a lot of young brothers, some sisters, and the parents have been wearing shirts with flowers. So she was a bit, I don't know, not really respectful, because it sounds, but she wanted to be funny, but she also didn't. But you don't know if it's the parents bringing the kids to the concert or the kids bringing the parents. So for me, anyway, everybody is welcome.
You usually when you see these types of concerts, it's accompanied with a giant screen that projects images from the game or movie they're playing the soundtrack of. You decided not to do that. Is there a particular reason?
Yeah. I think it's worth listening to the music. And in this case, because we're not playing the game, is the second reason as well that this, I told you, I told just once, I did also this the other way, but it's hard to make it in a way which makes sense, because you cannot play 3 hours of Skyrim and doesn't make sense for the concert. So that means the timeline of the music is a different one from the timeline in the game when we are doing concerts. So, and for sure you can see some pictures of the game, but because I'm a film music conductor, for me it's a bit not stupid. It gives some emotion, but the emotion is not correct, because if you see, I don't know, if you see Super Mario and the music is Bowser, doesn't fit. You know, yeah. So and so we decided. I think the people know, especially people who know the game will have that in their hearts anyway. And if not, it's anyway it's worthwhile to concentrate on the music.
Yeah, I once did a concert here in Belgium, in Brussels, by Nobuo Uematsu. Mm-hmm. He played like a very small venue in Brussels once with just 5 people. And he didn't have a projector as well. Yeah. But he didn't do any introduction or anything. He just played his music. So the entire time I was like, I think it's this game. Oh yeah, it's this game. So it's also like a challenge for the gamer to know which game are we listening to. But that's what I also wanted to ask is, when you do research for these pieces, do you do with only the music or also the gameplay footage?
I start with the music and then I'm looking at the game as well.
Yeah.
And then I judge if the game is okay, because there's also some games maybe I don't want to bring on stage, especially if you're doing family concerts or something. Then this is the second priority. But because I'm a musician, I can judge music better than the game.
Were you sometimes surprised at the game when you heard the music? Oh, I think it's this type of game, and then it turns out to be something completely different?
That's right. Sometimes.
Do you know which one?
No.
Like an example?
No.
Clash of Clans.
There was a funny moment in the rehearsals. I was watching, and you were playing Skyrim. And it was just the epic moment of Dovahkiin. And you just, before it could really kick off, you just stopped everyone. Let's save our voices for tonight. Which was a beautiful moment. So everybody's in for a treat.
And the musicians, are they mostly gamers? Aren't? Any idea?
Maybe we have a musician
one
here, and I don't know, simply.
Okay.
Actually, this is the honest answer. For sure, there are gamers. I remember I did in another comparable orchestra, I played Clash of Clans, or we start rehearsing Clash of Clans, and it starts really like in the opening of Clash of Clans, and the people are okay, oh my God! This feeling. So for sure, there have been gamers.
Yeah. Okay.
Is the music like attracting you to try to play the game? Do you want to try to play the games now that you've heard the music?
I try to avoid, but serious. I'm also for this reason not a gamer, because I would be totally addicted.
We get that.
No, serious. I'm also maybe like a football, these professional football players. I don't know. Or as a musician, you are trained for perfection, and okay. So for sure,
you would be too good at the game.
Too long at the game for sure.
Have your kids been to this concert?
I was a strict father.
No, but your kids now, have they been to this specific concert?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Not in Belgium, but if I'm doing it in Germany, and they like it a lot.
Oh, that's awesome. You can share that, of course, with your kids.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. We're going to let you prepare
rehearse
for the big event.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming on stage. That was a surprise that it was live for you.
But I enjoyed.
You did an amazing job.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's give him a hand of applause.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you again. All right, we're off to a good start.
Yeah.
Now let's...
for the sake of balance, now let's have a gamer on stage.
Well, we already have 3 gamers on stage, so...
Yeah, there's an...
Let's put on a talented gamer.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, the double bass player, Vlad. Here you go.
Hi, everyone. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We asked if anyone of the orchestra plays games, and it just pushed you forward.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure from where do my colleagues know that I play games, actually. But yeah, indeed, I do play games, although a lot more casually than before. I used to play a lot, especially until I decided to do music very seriously, because I totally have the same opinion as Stefan. It's terrible. It's terrible to want to play games as a trained musician, because you really want to go for it completely, 100%. And I was especially fond of RPGs. So that is, you all know how that goes, and so way too many hours.
Yeah, they don't finish in 5 hours.
No, not at all.
Unfortunately, in most cases. So were you happy to see on the agenda that you got to play game music for once?
Wow, it was incredible. I mean, actually, we played in August in the Netherlands. We did a concert also with game music. And already then I was like, wow, this is incredible. It's going to be great. It was back then the first time I did a concert with game music. And when I saw that we do it also here, I was super stoked for it.
Did you play any of the games?
Yeah, quite a bunch of them. So there's actually 2 of my favorites on the
Which ones?
it's Civilization 6, Civilization series. I really loved ever since I was a kid, and Skyrim, of course. It's classic already.
So you're happy with the Oblivion remaster?
I mean, actually, sorry, I will go now. Actually, I was a little bit too young for Oblivion, so it felt when I started playing Oblivion when it came out, I did feel like it was a tiny bit on the tricky side, especially to understand all the mechanics and all of this. So when Skyrim popped up, it was such a big thing, the launching and everything. So I just thought, okay, whatever, let's give it 300 hours later. I was still there. And
Oh dear.
yeah. So,
Any games that you would like to perform someday?
yeah, a ton of them. Assassin's Creed, for example, I think it's a great soundtrack to do.
Any specific ones?
Sorry?
Any specific ones from Assassin's Creed?
I think he's asking which one's your favorite.
Yeah,
yeah. It's
20.
I have to be careful with that also, I guess.
Oh, it's fine.
It's
Well,
either the
It's Unity.
No, I think anything up to Black Flag, I think I would go for.
The pirate chants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that would be fun to sing while being in the
Chanties,
orchestra for sure.
That would be amazing to
Yeah,
I would love
hear.
that.
That would be very fun. Yeah.
And other games? You said Assassin's Creed, but
Diablo, I think, would be very, very good. Especially, I remember I did play a lot of Diablo 2, and I was fascinated what they were able to do, especially with the little guitar moments here and there. Just a chord hit you right in the middle of the exploration, and it was just. It just impacted so much the gameplay. I would love to see that on stage, because I think you can really play a lot with the lights and with a lot of effects in the whole to bring a very good atmosphere.
can you still enjoy games when the soundtrack isn't good?
It's difficult to say.
There's usually a mute button in the settings.
Yeah. Well, it does impact a lot, but I gotta say I never play without music, like on mute. But also, I really do think they're doing a very good job with soundtracks. So
Most games do have an amazing soundtrack. I do remember, and I know this is very blasphemous maybe for some people, but last year we played the game Stellar Blade. I don't know if you've noticed.
yeah, I've seen some footage of it. Yeah,
But we both got annoyed by the soundtrack.
It was
a lot of people
so
love the
annoying.
soundtrack, but we just didn't understand it. I know it's from the same director as the game Nier Automata, where the soundtrack is amazing and it really fits the game. But in this case, it was like, this doesn't work. And we just got annoyed by
annoying.
it.
you made me very curious now.
Yeah, like it's a really good soundtrack, but it doesn't fit the game. There's this juxtaposition between two of them, and we're like, I'm listening to pop music while I'm running through a desert that's post-apocalyptic. I'm not feeling it. But like I know we're not the mainstream opinion about this, but I'm glad that there were some people who agreed with me for once.
Are you one of the people, when you hear this like bombastic soundtrack, that you just stand still and enjoy the music? Or
you mean
like just pause the game? Well, not pause, but like let it breathe.
Yeah,
let the music
definitely.
play.
Definitely. Just to give an example from the program that we play tonight, when I first heard this Far Horizons from Skyrim, I was like, wow, I gotta stop this and just enjoy the view and listen to the music. It was just incredibly special.
Did your love for game music become before you, like as a kid, or was it as a musician that once you learned more to play music, that you learned to love it?
Well, actually, The first few games I played might sound a bit weird, but the first few games I played, I remember, were Doom.
Amazing soundtrack.
Very kid-friendly.
Yeah, Doom, Quake 3, and things like this. Like PC gaming, where I'm from, PC gaming was the most popular by far. So
Still is, probably.
yeah, it could be, yeah. So then actually my brother introduced me to a lot of these games. And when I was playing the games, it was a little bit scary, I gotta say. So he used to stop the games and put other music on the background. And I remember playing Quake 3, listening to Michael Jackson, and that was a lot of fun.
Cool challenge.
Yeah, so I think it came at the same time as... I think I felt immediately the connection between playing a game and enjoying the music at the same time.
Do you enjoy the new Doom soundtracks?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess more or less.
They don't really sound like Michael Jackson.
No, that's fortunately. No,
Fortunately.
I also gotta say that I'm not entirely up to date with a lot of games these days. So as I said, I tend to play a lot less now.
If you, let's say you take a walk in the park and you on your iPod, do you play gaming music sometimes?
I used to. Actually, when I started, when they launched Civilization 6, I remember playing a lot of the music on the background. And also there were some games that didn't have original soundtrack, that had just a bunch of songs piled up, which I really enjoyed. Dirt 2 was one of the examples.
Oh yeah,
had a really great soundtrack.
Yes,
like a playlist of songs. So yeah, that I would often do as well.
Tony Hawk has amazing.
Oh yes, Tony Hawk also. Yeah, you're right.
Which one?
2.
Oh,
So,
the best.
Perfect. Perfect.
by far.
Part of the gang now. We love it.
If you could recommend some games that have amazing soundtracks that you want to recommend to the audience,
Next
which
to
one would you
Skyrim.
say?
Next to Skyrim.
Next to Skyrim.
Quite tricky. Duke Nukem is a good one.
the original.
The original Duke Nukem, yeah, that had a very good soundtrack.
I can play the theme in my head right now. Like
Yeah, it's instantly recognizable. You never forget it once you heard it.
I guess that's one that Stefan doesn't want in the show, for the family show.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that doesn't fit too much. And another one that just came to my head is Jazz Jackrabbit series.
oh yeah.
That actually had a killer soundtrack, and it's super underrated, I feel.
Yeah, it was also like a quite jazzy soundtrack as well, right?
Yeah, all these weird sounds with a synthesizer and
And then one of the
synthesizer.
like it's a very interesting game if you look at it. Like it was made by 2 people, and then if I'm not mistaken, one went on, and then eventually that became like id Software, like Doom and everything else there. No, wait, I think I'm wrong. And then the other was for Guerrilla Studios in the Netherlands, and they went on to make Horizon and Killzone and everything. So it's a very rich history that game, that was those 2 developers, they branched out and made very amazing games. And then Jazz Jackrabbit is like a simple, let's say, Sonic the Hedgehog with a gun, essentially, on PC.
Yeah, true.
Did you ever try to make music for the games as well, or yourself?
You mean to play music before?
No, like compose these soundtracks.
Sorry, I didn't really get the question.
Have you tried composing soundtracks yourself? For games?
Yeah, no. I'm not nowhere near that kind of knowledge about composition, and I think these composers are extremely talented, and they really put in a lot of work to do this kind of thing. So even the more minimalist kind of soundtracks are fantastic. So I stick to playing a little bit.
I mean, that's crazy, because when we see people play in an orchestra, we assume that everyone is incredibly talented already. And for you to say, oh no, but these people are even above another level. So
yeah, I think it's also a different way of approaching music. When you compose, you have a little bit of an overview of what every instrument can do. Then maybe you try to put it on stage, and then you see maybe this doesn't work. Then we change it a little bit. You see that it's not playable. And as a player, of course, you know your instrument, and you know generally things about music. But I think composition in itself, it's a lot more complex and requires a different kind of training for it.
okay.
Any big iconic games you want to mention with soundtracks? I know we kind of asked this question, but I mean, BioShock was mentioned, for example. Is that something that's...
Definitely. I felt it when he mentioned BioShock. I was like, yes, that's really a good one.
And personal, not related to soundtrack specifically. Any games that come up?
Actually, yes, and it just had re-release on the more modern softwares, which was a Sims series. They just re-released the 1 and 2.
They did?
Yeah, just like 2 weeks ago or something like this. And I got super stoked that finally you can play on Windows 11 without glitches, without cuts, without trying to mod it in any way. And I think the soundtrack for The Sims, they nailed it completely also, for 1 and 2.
Did you ever kill one of your Sims?
I mean, be honest.
Rhetorical question. Of course I did. The pool, it's classic.
The pool is a classic. Everybody did it. You don't lie.
Absolutely. Classic.
When you're on the road to these kind of shows, do you play any handhelds, or do you have any games with you, or do you play mobile games? Or
I do have a Switch, and I do take it with me quite everywhere.
Any games you're playing? Well, obviously, but which ones?
Well, I am in between trying to hold myself from playing too much Tears of the Kingdom and going on with it like slowly, because I know it can get very far.
Do you play with the others from the orchestra?
Yes. Actually, it was a lot of fun when we went, I think 3 years ago on tour, and we didn't have a lot to do on the plane. And we actually just realized most of us have our Switch, Nintendo Switch with us. So we just started playing Mario Kart and all of this kind of stuff together in the plane. So that was fun. Because there's a lot of young people in the orchestra, so a bunch of us play games.
I guess they're all super stoked for this show then, or this tour.
I think people that play video games in the orchestra, I think we are of course very stoked, but I think some of my colleagues that don't play so much or have never played video games are maybe not really seeing the whole experience of.
So how did they react to the news that you guys were going to play video games?
Well, I guess every program is exciting, and it's nice to discover and to play. So yeah, the reception was quite fine, of course, from all of us.
Were they impressed that video games also had this kind of impact?
I think with some of the soundtracks, definitely.
That surprised them, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, everyone was stoked for Super Mario and for Skyrim and whatever. So, and World of Warcraft, that was also great. So,
you played a double bass.
Yeah.
Is that the only instrument you play?
Yeah, I mean, I would say yes.
You've tried, but committed to double bass.
Yeah, exactly. Just committed to bass.
Where did your love for the double bass start? Was that immediately when you wanted to play music like double bass and that's it, or?
Not really. I always wanted to play guitar.
But you wanted to go bigger.
Actually, someone just told me, man, you're not going to make money with the guitar. Just go play bass. And I was like, let's see what happens. And here I am.
But you first had to like buy this massive instrument. So making money with it was...
Yeah, well, it was a bit lucky. I was a bit lucky that they give it to you from the school where you're studying. So that was good.
Phew.
Yeah,
it has a bigger case when you play on the street. More money fits in. That's how it works, right?
Play bass, people. Play bass.
Play double bass, you make money.
Well, my sister, she also plays double bass, but she doesn't make any money. So I guess she's doing something wrong.
She had to pay for hers.
Yeah, she had to pay for her instrument. She's still paying for it, I guess.
Is the double bass included in every soundtrack tonight?
Yes. Yes. I mean, normally when you have a symphony orchestra, bass is mandatory.
Yeah.
Double bass is mandatory. So
Very underrated instrument.
yeah, it's sort of the one that you never notice, and or almost never notice, and it's good that you don't. That should be the case. It's just there to put the last touch normally.
Do you play with fingers or the shit? What's it called?
With a bow.
Bow. Yes, I knew that. Or do you both?
Well, both actually. Depends what the music requires. So it's always a nice effect. Depends. You can look at us while we play and try to figure out where we play which. That's fun.
Yeah, you're on the right of the stage.
Yeah, exactly. You will not. You will see it for sure. So that's. But yeah, we play whatever the music is required. Sometimes we play with the fingers, sometimes with the bow. So
I'm gonna guess with Grim Fandango, you have to play with your fingers. Hey,
Nice.
I know my music.
You know your Grim Fandango music.
Yes, I really do.
Any games that you're looking forward to?
well, actually, I'm not sure right now. Nothing comes to my head right now.
GTA 6.
I mean, but we all know there's going to be a lot of things before that. So a lot of other things.
If we live long enough to see the release, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I'm very much looking forward for the Mario Kart World. I just saw that. That looks very fun. So
You can play it on the plane, I guess.
Yeah.
sorry,
You can play it on the plane again.
that's true. So,
Is the Switch your main console, or do you have any others?
no, it's my main console. Now I switched from PC to Switch, and I'm mostly stuck on that now. So,
You're on the road constantly, I guess, or can you,
quite often. So Switch is incredibly good for that.
how often do you travel?
I mean, depends what we do. Many weeks we have concerts also in other cities, so it can be almost weekly actually. We travel also to the Netherlands or to other countries. So yeah, quite often.
And is it always in group, or do you go home separately and then fly in, or how does it
I
work?
mean, we always go together when we have the orchestra concerts. We go together, but sometimes we have our projects outside of the orchestra. Then you also have to travel, and so depends on the program.
Do you watch any movies or series based on video games? Because often the soundtracks there are way less impressive or like in your face, because it gets more pushed to the side to focus on the story. So
Yeah, I mean, I did start The Witcher, but I'm not so much of a series guy. So I did start The Witcher, but yeah, I think I liked it a lot more in the games still.
Yeah, The Last of Us is ongoing right now, season 2. Have you checked that out?
Oh, no.
No.
So maybe I should.
We'd recommend it.
Also, amazing soundtrack.
All right.
Of the game, and the series is the same, or I can't
that's what I said. They focus less on the music in the series and more on the story, and that's what I dislike the most about these
Adaptations.
Is the I'm not really into music. I'm the guy who is gonna skip it, but when it's not there, I do feel less connected. So I understand the emotional impact and I respect that, but I have no clue about. But that's what I mean. It's like, so in the series and the shows or the movies, is I notice when it's not there, and it's way less impactful. I'm playing some games right now which have really good soundtracks, and it's really impressive how it lures you more into the lore of the game, which I really like. And that's what I feel is missing from these adaptations. So that's...
It's ironic that they made a movie about Super Mario, and the only song that everybody remembers is sung by Jack Black. So in that regard, you are correct.
Exactly.
Same with Minecraft.
Yeah, again, Jack Black.
Too many Jack Black movies then.
You can never have enough Jack Black movies. Sorry, we went on a rant there. You have to take some time to prepare as well, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know what time it is, so I guess we're fine.
7:15.
Oh, okay, it's fine. But yeah, indeed, I should go to prepare also for the concert.
Do you need to get dressed, or is this the outfit?
No, I mean I have to dress up. So
You have to fit the part.
Full cosplay or?
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be great.
The entire orchestra in cosplay.
I thought about it.
Just
and I was hoping we will do it, but maybe next time. Next time,
Yes.
I hope so.
Yeah, take a note for it. Who would you cosplay?
I think I would go for Luigi. Now.
That was what I was thinking. It would be so funny to have the entire orchestra as Mario, Luigi, Waluigi, Luigi.
I thought you were going to say all Luigis.
Yeah, like all of them in like different Super Mario
Everyone
outfits.
Luigi.
Everyone Luigi.
That would be great.
Yeah, everybody wants to choose Luigi anyway, right?
I want to be the cow from Mario Kart World.
Yeah, you do look like.
Imagine if everyone goes as Pokemon also.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Different Pokemon.
that would be nice.
There's enough choice for an entire orchestra.
Or each section can have one Pokemon and its evolution.
Oh.
So,
That's great.
the choir will have to be Eevee.
I hope
then.
someone from the orchestra is listening.
We'll send this clip like notes for next time.
Just put it on your list. Like, I'm not coming back unless everybody
rider.
is like dressed up as a Pokemon.
There you have it. Official.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much for
thank you guys.
taking the time.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Vlad, everyone.
Kan nog twee.
Switch naar de dingen terug.
Yes.
All right. That was great, I think. A lot of smiling faces. So
Was
that's
it
good.
informative?
All right.
Good enough.
The mild, yes. Cool.
Well, I do want to say, Janox, you were like, oh yeah, but I've been playing games that have a good soundtrack, and then not mention any of them. Like, what is finally making you convinced that game music is great?
Well, depends. So boss music is something separate, of course, especially South of Midnight currently on Xbox Game Pass. Is really impressive with its sound and its soundtrack and its custom lyrics. So it's a custom soundtrack. And
It usually is.
well, yeah, but I mean, not for like Tony Hawk and stuff, right? So, but all the lyrics are very specific around the bosses and puns and jokes, and it's really impressive, and it really lures you more into like really experiencing the full feeling chased and fighting, and it's about stigmas. It's a pretty impressive story, and the soundtrack really adds to it. And normally I don't care, but this time it really is impressive.
Amazing. Espe, I'm going to ask you then a second question.
All right.
Everybody here, let's assume in a couple of hours they go home and they're like, yeah, I'm 100% for game music now. Every other music can disappear. What should I be listening to as the next thing after coming out of the hall?
The God of War soundtrack.
The Bear McCreary one.
Both of them.
All
like
of
the
them.
old ones and the new ones. They're both amazing. So if you're wanting for more soundtracks after tonight, check that one out. Which one would you recommend?
Well, we already have One Winged Angel from Final Fantasy on the list, but I do think that the entire oeuvre of Nobuo Uematsu is amazing. He has some really great soundtracks.
All 7,000 songs.
All 7,000 Final Fantasies. But yeah, Final Fantasy 7 is probably one of his best, but I do have a soft spot for Final Fantasy 9 as well, which also has a really, really great soundtrack. So yeah, I think checking out everything, because like he has a very big and very broad library of games that he's worked on. But I do think, like, for me, he's still like the greatest.
Yeah.
And it will be very hard to ever have anybody on that level. And then, of course, there are some other great soundtracks.
You have soundtracks like impressive, bombastic, like Skyrim and stuff, and you have
the nostalgic ones. Like if I'm gonna say like Mega Man, the Mega Man 2 soundtrack is amazing, but of course it's just like 8-bit music, so chiptune. So I don't think it's gonna be in the same vein as what you'll hear today. But there are some great symphonic covers of these amazing songs that also are older, like the Mario 8-bit tracks have all been revamped at least like several times with a full orchestra, and they do still sound amazing because these arrangements are so well made that, as Stefan said earlier, you just translating them to an orchestra and they just work.
Yeah.
Some chase sequences, some horror chase sequences. That's something I would like to hear in an orchestra. I would probably not, but
do you want an excuse to run away?
Exactly.
Just keep a fast song as everyone leaves.
I mean, that's mostly very impressive, right? And that's something that an orchestra can do amazingly, but I do understand that it's not something you should.
You have a dark soul.
Well, more of this commentary you can find in our episodes. If you're curious to hear more, in Nederlands dan wel.
We do have some English episodes. So if you're interested more on the behind the scenes parts about video games, every year we also do a lot of interviews for the Unwrap Festival, where we actually pull in people who work into the games industry, and we just ask them everything about how do you make a game, what do you do inside the business, how do you get started.
Yeah,
these are usually in English. So
yeah, we had people from Larian, from Naughty Dog, from people all over the world, studios all over the world. So it's an incredible time.
Movies as well, like Avatar and Moana 2.
Yeah,
or stuff like that. So that's all on our YouTube.
Yeah.
Spotify.
So give us a follow if you don't yet on YouTube, Spotify, whatever podcast app you're using. Thank you so much for sitting in. And good luck sitting in over there.
Good luck. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Just enjoy.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, and until next time.
Game Kast.